Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 11. Wow, we've come so far to the Chatting Pitch podcast. It's me, Leslie.
And me, Matthew. Thank you for joining us, whether you're new or whether you're old or whether you're middle-aged. It's all good.
I like how it's not young or old, it's new or old.
Yeah.
Because we all go around saying, oh, wow, your child looks new.
And are you newer? Are you the newest?
Oh, this one's very new. Yeah.
I can tell from the weight.
Yeah.
This one's very new.
There's way too much fresh out there. Yeah, anyway, we are doing a new episode where every week we come up with a new concept of what we want to pitch each other. hence the name of the podcast. But what we're doing this week, Matt?
This week, we were going to look at, I don't know how to say it, maybe prestige actors, like A-list actors, but when they sort of, maybe sometimes they get a bit washed up, maybe sometimes they just want to take the paycheck, and they end up being in movies that maybe aren't as good as the movies that they are known for.
Yeah. And by prestige actors, we're not talking about the actors from the movie The Prestige. We're talking about actors who have wow, Matt, I can tell you loved that joke. You had a sense of you had a slight smirk, but then the smirk was almost like this is almost a pity smirk.
No. It was a smirk followed by, could we do an episode on that?
Oh right. Yeah, we could. That could be a future episode. But yeah, we're talking about A-list actors. So we're talking about let's set up some context first. So the obvious ones who are a little bit kind of straight to DVD now are your Bruce Willis's, are your
John Travolta's, maybe Steven Seagal. Definitely.
Steven Seagal has always been straight to DVD after the one movie he made back in the day. Or was it Under Siege? He did Under Siege?
Under Siege is probably his most well-known one.
Yeah, and then after that, it just became kind of a bit downhill. He must have had some cinematic releases, but to this day, most of them are straight to DVDs. Nick Cage had a little bit of that, but he's had a bit of a renaissance now where he's kind of come back and started doing a bit more. I don't think he ever really went away. Yeah, so Nick Cage does have his sort of his own brand of acting in many ways, but I don't think he ever really left the limelight in the A-list area. But he did do some questionable movies.
It's almost that he was just doing everything.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think he made cinematic releases with straight to DVD auras, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Remember when he had a long list of movies such as Bangkok Dangerous and Next, and what was the other one?
There's the one where he's like a mathematician or something, where he knows a mathematician, Knowing, or something like that.
Yeah. But that was quite a big budget movie, though. That was directed by Alex Proyas, who also did I, Robot. He also did your I don't know if you ever watched Dark City. That was quite a good film.
Okay. Is he the one who did Gods of Egypt as well? I have not seen
Gods of Egypt.
It's not, yeah.
I heard that's a little bit rubbish, but I don't know. Movies are subjective in their own right, so
yeah.
Who knows? Some people probably love Gods of Egypt, but from what I've heard, it's pretty awful.
Well, you like what you like, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah, I guess we need to kind of think of an actor this time round. But before we do that, there's the jingle. Episode 11. And we're back. So, yeah, we're trying to think of a good actor who's A-list, who's been in everything, but we can never see them as anything other than A-list. And then they just make a straight-to-DVD movie. Who would that actor be? I guess we could do a couple of them. What comes to mind for you, Matt?
I mean, I remember reading about this sort of thing, not for this podcast, but just because I'm an intelligent guy. I like to read.
Wow.
Oh wait, sorry. Sorry, my notes. It should have said, "I'm an intelligent guy. I can read." Sorry, that's what that said.
Okay, right.
reading about like stars maybe on the up.
Right.
So I think when you mentioned Bruce Willis earlier, I thought of Henry Cavill. I know Henry Cavill did a couple
He did.
before he became Man of Steel.
He did.
Became the Man of Steel. And
But can you count that? If someone went from doing straight to DVD
yeah, I suppose
to
it's not the same,
making
is it?
A-list, it's different. It's a different kind of, because you're still climbing up to be an A-list, but we're talking about the downfall. You know,
Yeah, I
someone
suppose.
who was A-list and then now he's a little bit washed up, but doing everything he can. Quite incidentally, me and Matt watched a quite a funny film the other day called Mindhorn, and that is exactly that type of concept where a very famous actor from the 80s, now washed up, just doing commercials. Kind of like what happened to Orson Welles. Didn't he start doing adverts for frozen peas and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think his last role was possibly when he was in Transformers, which again some people love, but I'm not sure if that would have been his first choice.
Hang on. Orson Welles was in Transformers?
I'm sure he was.
Which one? Are you talking about the 80s Transformers movie?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about... Okay, not Michael Bay's Transformers where they resurrected him and...
No.
He is like the Allspark.
He was in The Transformers, the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that, you see. I didn't know he lived up to the 80s. I thought he died a lot earlier than that. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to have to watch the Transformers now, just to listen out for Orson Welles.
I'll tell you what, though, it's got a stunning soundtrack. And I say that without any hint of irony. It's got some right bangers on there.
Yeah, I'll listen to it. I remember watching it a very, very long time ago, back in the 90s. That's the one and only time I ever watched it. I don't remember much from it. I can't wait to hear Orson Welles just go, Rosebud. Yeah. Did you like my Transformers impression?
That was good. That was very good. I love that.
There's also the one where it goes like, ow. That's when they kind of start going into...
Yeah. I know which one you mean. Where they're all like, beep, boop, beep, boop. I am a transformer. Beep, 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 boop, boop.
5 whole movies we got of that. Did you watch any of them?
I watched the first 2, and the second one damn near killed me.
Fun story. I watched the first one, which I quite enjoyed. I didn't really mind it too much. And I walked out on the second one. Not because I didn't like it, but because I had to go to work. But even to this day, since it came out in the cinema, I haven't revisited it or watched the rest of it. Because
at the end of it, I felt simultaneously bored and just absolutely knackered. You know what I mean?
They are exhausting films.
Yeah.
I will say.
It took everything out of me, but also I just thought, why?
I didn't even bother watching 3 or 4 or 5. There was even 6, wasn't there?
Was there 6?
I believe there was.
What was the last night? That was 5?
It goes like Transformers. Somehow I know the names of them, but it's like Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and then the Age of Extinction, and then The Last Night. Mark Wahlberg were only able to do 2 of those films, not 3.
That's a real shame.
And then they skipped ahead and they did like a prequel called Bumblebee. Remember that?
Yes, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. I went to the premiere to that. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Yeah. It much better than all the other pile of rubbish that happened after the first one. But even the first one had its questionable moments, like the bit where John Turturro gets weed on.
Urinated.
Yeah.
So you just hear beep boop beep boop beep boop.
Enough about Transformers. Let's get on to the actual topic. What actor would you choose, Matt? Have you thought of one?
Well, I read this one years ago. I read about one that Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio did. Apparently, they actually sued to stop the movie from being released.
Oh, really? So a straight-to-DVD movie exists of Leonardo DiCaprio?
The film takes place... Tobey Maguire. The film takes place over the course of one night in which a group of young adults discuss life while eating at a diner.
I know exactly what the movie you're talking about. You're talking about Don's Plum, aren't you?
I am talking about Don's Plum. What a name.
Now, I remember a long time ago, a friend of mine at school asked me to watch it. And he said, "Oh, you got to watch Don's Plum." And I was like, oh, what's Don's Plum? So I looked it up, and he said, oh yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire are best friends in real life, and they made a movie together where it's just them talking, and it's all in black and white, and it's just the funniest thing. And I remember watching a clip thinking, like, this isn't all that funny. It's just a couple of people talking. But I guess you have to kind of, like, go in with a good mindset. But the movie does exist out there. You just got to find a way of finding it. I don't think it's on any streaming platforms or anything like that. You'd probably have to find it on YouTube, or someone may have re-uploaded it on Vimeo. We don't condone piracy here at Chatting Pitch at all, but I'm just saying, if you really wanted to watch Don's Plum, there are ways.
Oh, wow, it's on here.
Well, the full movie on YouTube.
It looks like there's Don's Plum 2001, and it's just under 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
So 2001, DiCaprio would have been huge at that point.
Yeah, he would have been, but I think maybe he just did it in between movies, because was it Titanic came out in 1997 or 1998, something like that.
Around that time, I think it was the same year as Con Air. That's how I that's how I look at life before Con Air and after Con Air.
That's like your BC and AC.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, but we're not here to talk about people who weren't famous at one point and are famous now. I'm talking about right now, Matt. This is the concept that we want to do.
So,
right?
Who are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about your Tom Cruises. I'm thinking about your...
Has Tom Cruise ever done one of those?
I don't think he has. At least I don't think so. He's way too high, top billed to be doing one of those films.
To be doing one of those films where it's just the close up and then it cuts to the wide shot and it's blatantly not them.
Yeah.
That sort of movie.
Can you think of any actor right now that are very careful with their kind of... If you think about it, Tom Hanks is a good one, because he doesn't really do any straight-to-DVD releases. I mean,
like to
some
see...
of them arguably should have been straight-to-DVD, like, I don't know, Polar Express, or... what's another bad film he's done?
I never saw it, but that just looks kind of creepy. I liked parts of Cloud Atlas, but I'm not sure about The Thing as a whole.
I mean, I think that was quite a big budget film as well. Some questionable scenes in that I'm not going to get into, but yeah.
What about Tom Hanks would be a good one to come up with an idea for. I did just think about Ving Rhames and Christopher Lloyd in Piranha Double D, which was a great movie. But that's another talk for another time.
I haven't seen Piranha Double D. I've only seen the first one. But I remember you telling me, like, you went and watched it with a couple of friends, and then you said, oh, mate, you have to watch Piranha Double D just for David Hasselhoff's keyboard solo or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he turns up as well. I think it was one of those where we went to see another film, but all the tickets were sold out, so we were just like, right, let's just try Piranha Double D and see what happens.
Me and you did that once. We were going to go watch something, and I can't remember what it was, but then we ended up watching The Lorax. And...
yeah,
we walked out at the first 10 minutes. It just wasn't our cup of tea.
It's a fine kids movie. It just it wasn't what we expected it to be. we thought it would be like a Pixar sort of film in that it would be like funny to adults as well.
We say that, but yet we sat through all of Muppets Most Wanted.
Oh yeah, just about.
Which was also a fantastic movie, right?
Yeah. The Muppets, for me, is a bit like Saturday Night Live as well, in that for some reason, in certain parts of the world, mainly the United States, there's like a deep love for it, where they venerate it. They take it very seriously.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's like a holy grail of of TV. When you actually sit down and watch it, sometimes it's a bit of a hit and miss. In my opinion, anyway. I don't ever think it's a masterpiece at all, but it's almost like a very beloved franchise. Like, I don't know, if you grow up with watching Sesame Street, you probably think, oh, they're the best thing, but not every episode is amazing.
I mean, I don't think I've ever...
Is it Muppets are created by Jim Henson, right? I think that's yeah. Have you seen his new show, Jim Henson's new show?
I thought Jim Henson was dead. How's he created a new show?
It's got Jim Henson's name on it anyway, but...
My God, he's good.
Still creating from beyond the grave.
Yeah, he died 31 years ago, so he's doing pretty well.
No. Well, this one is it's still Jim Henson's, but I guess it's kind of like the same as how Walt Disney.
So there's like what's that movie where they drag around a dead body and pretend it's still alive?
Oh, what, back in the 80s or 90s? I don't know. Was it the one where he's in a wheelchair and he's got glasses on? Let's look it up real quick.
Weekend at Bernie's. So it's like a
Weekend at Bernie's.
So
yeah.
So them putting Jim Henson's name on something 31 years after he's died is a bit like they're doing Weekend at Bernie's, but also the person who is dead is also doing some puppeteering himself. So it's like they're puppeteering a puppeteerer. So there's like Kermit, and then there's Jim Henson, and then there's someone behind Jim Henson puppeteering him. This is like when we've got like Tom Clancy's name being put on things. Why? What's this new show? I'm getting very very angry now. It shouldn't exist.
You get very angry, but like it's the same as saying Walt Disney Animation. He didn't do anything.
I suppose, yeah.
But it's the company, But this new show is actually it's a talk show featuring the host, which is a puppet.
Dead Jim Henson.
Yeah, but it's called Earth to Ned, and I had the pleasure of watching a couple of episodes the other day. And the first episode was that their guest was Andy Richter, from Conan, and they made a big joke about how, we don't know anything about sidekicks, so why don't we interview the most famous sidekick of them all,
right?
Andy Richter, and then he came, and then they beam him on. So Earth to Ned is the concept, or the premise is that Ned, he's the host, but he was going to invade Earth. But he decided that he loved Earth too much because of celebrities. So he starts a talk show host, and he's got this sidekick. I forget his name, but he's this little mole-looking guy, and he's got a funny little voice. And,
I haven't seen it, but I imagine it's like like that sort of voice. Is it that?
The sidekick's more like, "Oh man, come on! Like, what are you doing?" That kind of voice. But the host's voice is more like, "Oh, look at me! I'm the host." Yeah, but no, he genuinely sounds like that. Like, if you go and watch it, or at least maybe look at a couple of episodes, but like he's just this big alien guy who's got a massive cloak and he's got 4 arms,
right?
And he's really intrigued about Earth and their celebrities and everything like that. I think there was one episode where it just starts off with him with a big beam going into his brain,
right?
And he's going like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I did it. I watched every movie. And it's like, do it again. It's very, very kid friendly. It's supposed to be their kind of take on a talk show. I have a feeling that the interviews are half improvised and half scripted, because there are moments where they kind of get beamed on and they're saying like, "Whoa, where am I from?" And then they do a little thing, but then eventually they kind of do interview. But I gotta say, there was one interview that I quite enjoyed, and they interviewed Reggie Watts, and he was quite funny on that thing.
His TED Talk is amazing.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know who Reggie Watts is, he's a very funny comedian / beatboxer / musical genius who just does very surreal comedy to the point where halfway through his routine it would just completely switch accent and then just stick to that accent for the rest.
Please, if you can, watch his TED Talk, because it's just it's wonderful nonsense and French science, just wonderful.
French science. Anyway, we've gone wildly off topic now.
Wildly off topic. We're in the woods here. Let's go back out the woods.
Into the wild.
We were going to cast... Should we cast Tom Hanks in a...
Let's cast Tom Hanks in a... So before we did this episode, we decided to do a little bit of research, and we watched... what was the movie? I forgot the name of the movie.
I love our version of research. We watched about 10 minutes of Precious Cargo.
Precious Cargo with Bruce Willis. What we did was we went onto Amazon Prime and typed in Bruce Willis, and then about 5 straight to DVD movies came up. and we decided to pick the one with the least amount of stars in their ratings, and that turned out to be Precious Cargo. I don't know what the movie is about. It started off with some guy who looked a bit like Gerard Butler meets Michael Fassbender, and you said there's a little bit of Oscar Isaac
Sprinkling of
sprinkled in.
Oscar Isaac. Just a hint. Just a smidge.
But like I love how they just chose that particular actor because he just looks like what an action hero would look like, and he could have just been completely interchangeable with any one of those actors we just named. And I guess the reason why they couldn't get that because those are actual A-list actors, and this guy I don't know who he is, but yeah, he was in some sort of Mexican showdown, Mexican standoff
in the movie.
in the movie, yeah,
Okay.
in the movie, not in the real life. Yeah.
Okay.
He was in some sort of Mexican standoff, and a bunch of guys in a very Hawaii Five-0 setting decided to set him up with guns. And he's like, "Oh no, help me!" He was like shouting someone's name, like Larry, help me, Larry, or
Lance,
whatever.
Lance.
Lance.
I can't remember the name of the character.
I don't remember the name.
But we're not just going to be poo-pooing straight to DVD movies because some of them can be decent. It's just they don't happen to have the budget of an A-list Hollywood movie. We're focusing on the bits where the big star in Precious Cargo's case, Bruce Willis, shows up for maybe 5-10 minutes, should we say? So we're thinking of creating a movie for Tom Hanks, where Tom Hanks only has to show up for 5 minutes.
I think this is going to be much later in his career because Tom Hanks has still got his acting chops. He's still doing stuff. It's only when they start getting a little bit washed up where they start doing these awful straight to DVD.
Well, I feel like if we create a rumor about Tom Hanks that just destroys his career, then we can cast him in this movie. So
he
first
spent
off,
all of his money on typewriters.
Yes,
and he
all
does
of
not
it.
have
and his house is a giant typewriter. It hasn't even got a door.
Yeah.
It's just a giant typewriter.
If anyone doesn't have any context, Tom Hanks is a typewriter enthusiast, and he collects typewriters, and he loves to demonstrate how to refill the ink or the what was it, the paper in a typewriter. He did a video once on YouTube, a tutorial on how to replace the paper in a typewriter.
So what's happened is
one
we
of
haven't created this rumor, but he spent all his money on typewriters, and he's like, "Oh my god, Matt and Leslie, thank God you're here. The tax man's coming. I need some quick cash. Can you?"
Oh, have we become the movie producers?
We've
now?
become We've become the movie producers, and so
we've become the new Jerry Bruckheimer and Joel Silvers of the world.
yeah,
Don Simpson.
just a sprinkle of Don Simpson. And he's like, I need money fast. Me need money now.
Yeah.
So we have to come up with a film where he's there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably as the villain.
Okay. So we've got some sort of a generic
Yeah.
action star who has no gravitas to his portfolio. Okay. We need a story first, don't we?
Well, the guy from Precious Cargo. I keep forgetting the name of the film. The guy from Precious Cargo was in Saved by the Bell, so he's done some stuff.
Okay.
He's done some hardcore stuff.
Oh my god! I just realised that there's one that we haven't talked about.
Go on.
Kelsey Grammer in Money Plane.
Oh, yeah. Someone suggested that on a way earlier episode in the YouTube comments. What was it called again? Money Plane.
Money Plane.
I have seen some as of recording, which is the 3rd of January. I have seen clips of Money Plane, and he is just insane. He's just acting up at 11 here. Leslie's so alarmed by it that he dropped his microphone.
I went to go type up Money Plane just to see what the name of Kelsey Grammer's character is, and it's the most ridiculous name, and the way that he introduces himself. Just when he gets introduced, he says, "My name is Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, aka The Rumble."
Oh.
That is his full name in the film, and every time he introduces himself, he just says that over and over again. Like even towards the end, where he's lost the plot, and I'm guessing Kelsey Grammer is the villain in the film. I haven't seen it, but from what I've made out, I think he loses grips of everything. Like his whole plot kind of falls down. He's losing the battle, and he goes like, "I'm Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, aka the Rumble, and I mean business." And it's just I've never seen Kelsey Grammer stoop that low before.
I'm just comparing that to Breaking Bad. I am the danger. Niles, I am the Rumble.
Yeah. So yeah, I completely forgot about Money Plane, but that's a movie that I think we should watch at some point. I think that's
You know what
that'll
I
be a bit
think
of a laugh.
would class as one of these movies that had a massive budget is The Expendables. Actually, that's just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Especially the first one, because you've got both Arnie and both Bruce Willis turning up for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Anyway.
Harrison Ford was in one of them, wasn't he?
The third one?
Third one, or was it Mel Gibson? He was in there too.
Oh, the third one is Mel Gibson, where, the movie came out just after his well-publicised run
Oh yeah.
against Jewish people, and then in The Expendables 3, his character kidnaps some people and then names them after some famous Jewish entertainers, which I thought was very tasteful. Very tasteful.
Okay.
Anyway.
We still need to come up with this plot for this Tom Hanks vehicle.
I feel like this is going to be a great episode in terms of rewatchability, because we need to make this plot so generic that people will instantly forget it, and then they'll watch the video again. So,
well, one thing that I've noticed about all these straight-to-DVD action movies are that they always have a title which is unmemorable, but also it's 2 words put together that sound, I guess, in their eyes, cool.
right.
So like, hard kill, or precious cargo.
As opposed to a soft kill. Oh, I'll just place this in you. Oh, that stings a bit.
Can you think of...
Now I'm dead.
Can you think of 2 words that might sound cool with each other that make no sense?
Oh, it's a curly kill.
Like, what about sick death?
Sick death, man.
This is a movie Trapped in 2010.
I'm gonna look up. Actually, I think we should do Hard Kill, if that's not one.
No, Hard Kill has already been taken.
Is it?
Hard Kill is a Bruce Willis movie.
Bruce Willis.
This is why I said Hard Kill, but I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it. I think it's got Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen?
I'm not sure.
Hard Kill?
I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe Hayden Christensen was in First Kill. Maybe that was a different movie.
You know what we need to do? Thesaurus time. What's another word for death? Oh, destruction, annihilation.
Destruction. Okay, let's do destruction. I like destruction.
And then I've looked up the word hard.
Yeah.
Complicated, serious, troublesome.
Serious destruction.
Troublesome destruction.
That's got too much class to it. We need to lower the bar a little bit.
Fatiguing destruction. All these buildings falling over just makes me tired.
Mate, I liked serious destruction. I thought that was quite a good one. That sounds generic enough to be quite forgettable.
What about heavy
destruction?
Heavy downfall.
I don't know.
No, not fan.
This reminds me of that Hitler film, The Downfall.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can skip downfall. We could have heavy darkness. Heavy.
It has to have a word in it that kind of gives it a bit of edge, you know?
Grave death. What about that?
Grave death. Is this some sort of a pseudo zombie film as well?
Yeah.
Just like a
it's not. It's nothing to do with zombies, but we've called it grave death anyway.
Grave. Okay, sure. Shall we go grave death?
The audience needs to understand that these deaths, they're very important. They're very important.
Why don't we switch it around and call it
Death Grave?
Death Grave.
About a guy in what's one of those cars that takes? He's driving around in a hearse. And he's got a coffin in the back,
right? But
it's like one of those.
Oh, we could call it Death Car.
Death Car, yeah. And inside the coffin, there's like elaborate like machines, and They kill his victim. So Tom Hanks is
Where is this going?
is Tom Hanks either the driver or he's the detective whose job it is to find the driver.
No. The detective is your generic Gerard Butler, Michael Fassbender, Oscar Isaac guy, and Tom Hanks is the driver.
Okay.
I can imagine him wearing his little hat, his little suit. He's just in the front
With like a stick-on beard.
Yeah. And some sunglasses.
Like
and
thick, almost mutton chop type beard. And sunglasses, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. But the sunglasses also are VR glasses, so that he can have the lines like in front of him while he's driving.
We talked about this earlier whilst watching Bruce Willis. There's a bit in, oh God, what's it called? Precious Cargo.
His first scene.
There's scene in Precious Cargo. And we're not saying that this is what happened, but straight away, Bruce Willis's character is on the phone. And what did you say, Leslie, straight away?
I said, he's having his lines read through the phone.
So Leslie thought maybe an assistant was on the phone to Bruce Willis and was maybe like, saying his lines back to him.
And we had the idea, because there's that old famous incident where Marlon Brando had his lines fed through his earpiece, or he had the guy in front of him.
There's a great photo. I'm pretty sure it's real. It's been spread around. Where who was it? I'm gonna look it up.
Is it Al Pacino?
No.
Is it Robert De Niro? Was he in The Godfather?
His excuse was apparently that it would be more real if he saw the lines like there and then. It's almost like his character has just thought up that response.
Right. Right. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I see the picture. He literally just has the lines right in front of him, not even in his coat, just like.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Chest. Is it James Caan? But someone has got.
Caan.
And anyway, I think it's James Caan.
Marlon Brando has just gone into a Star Trek film.
James Caan. That would be a good Star Trek movie, wouldn't it? Marlon Brando as the villain. Across from William Shatner. You've just got two actors fighting for the camera.
I'm the leader of the Starship Enterprise, and
I can't understand what you're saying. Why are you talking like that?
Mate, the way that you're doing it sounds like you're just doing Ace Ventura. With the way your head was bobbing.
What, the cockatoo?
Alrighty then, I am part of the Starship Enterprise. Spock!
Save the animals, Spock.
Right. Alright, this movie, come on, right. We gotta try and finish this off.
Gerard Butler is the detective who is in most...
Knock off Gerard Butler.
Who is actual Gerard Butler. He is in most of the film.
Okay. Right. So Gerard Butler also is washed up now at this point.
Yeah. Or we could just go with Gerard Butler.
To be honest, he's made some questionable films as well.
He has.
Butler, like Geostorm. That was quite a funny film.
Have
you seen Geostorm?
It died a death, didn't it, really?
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got a Gerard Butler lookalike, who is the detective. Mm-hmm. He's in most of the film. 95% of the film is his character. And then 5% of the time, you've got Tom Hanks driving around. Now, instead of Marlon Brando reading the script from inside someone's jacket or an earpiece, you suggested Tom Hanks wears VR sunglasses.
Yeah. The sunglasses look real. They don't look any different from the outside, but on the inside, it's just an auto script.
But also, to make his character and his performance more real, he insists that when any scene where his character is driving the hearse, he is actually driving on a road as well. Mm. So he's got VR sunglasses. So he's reading a script whilst driving around.
Right.
Which I think that would be pretty funny. What about you?
Yeah. So we're under the impression that he's actually driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Not being towed by
not being towed, because he wants to make his performance more real.
Okay. But that's probably going to be a production nightmare, because if he's just reading lines off his glasses, They've only got one of these cars, you know. Think about the budget of this straight-to-DVD movie.
I mean, Tom Hanks has used all his money to buy typewriters, but what are you going to do? He's still Tom Hanks.
That is true.
You know, if he wants to drive a car whilst reading a script on VR sunglasses, that's up to him.
Did you ever notice that if you abbreviated his first name as the initial, it would be T. Hanks, which also spells out thanks. I don't know why I found that amusing, but it has nothing to do with the movie. Do you think that's how he signs off his typewriter papers?
Oh, maybe.
Thanks. Thanks, T. Hanks.
T. Hanks. T. Hanks. T. Hanks. Thanks.
He is driving his hearse. This. I guess the coffin is the thing that kills a bunch of people, right? Inside.
Yeah. So he bundles them in. They're all like, because they've got like a sock in their mouth or something.
Is this the premise? Like, it's just Jared Butler has to stop Tom Hanks from killing a bunch of people in his hearse.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is a serial killer who's throwing people in the back of his hearse.
Yeah, and how does it end?
Oh, how does it end? So Gerard Butler lookalike.
Who is he killing? Who are these people?
People that have wronged him in some way.
Okay. But why would Jared Butler need to stop?
Insistent on replacing typewriters with PCs.
Okay.
And Gerard Butler lookalike.
And he's become unhinged.
He's become unhinged, definitely. And
but put a comment in if you get that reference, like just to leave a little comment.
Who are we talking about? So maybe Gerard Butler lookalike character is all tied up and he's about to be thrown in the hearse, but his new partner, and when I say new, I don't mean young, although she does happen to be young because she's new. What am I saying?
And who's that played by?
I feel like that would be an up and coming actor.
Okay. Sure.
And then she saves the day. So it's maybe someone that Gerard Butler lookalike character has maybe had a bit of beef with. Maybe he doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be partners. I work on my own, like that sort of guy.
Is that what Gerard Butler sounds like?
Yeah.
Oh, I work on my own. That's what people. Where is he? He's Scottish, right?
Is he Scottish? He's Scottish, yeah.
That's your best Scottish accent you can do.
I wasn't doing Scottish, but yeah, that's probably the best I could do.
Sure. Okay. Can you do your best Tom Hanks?
I don't know how that would go.
Does he sound like Tom Hanks, like washed up Tom Hanks?
He sounds like Woody.
Does he sound like Woody? Oh, come on, guys! You gotta get in my hearse. But like, I'm not dead, and he's like, I know.
Is it Tom Hanks or Chris Tucker?
Come on, Jamali! You're a liar.
Get in the van.
Can we just replace? Okay, scrap the whole idea. It's not Tom Hanks anymore. It's Chris Tucker.
No. But he just looks like Chris Tucker. He's in a suit. He looks like.
Can we have Chris Tucker as one of the guys that Tom Hanks is trying to murder?
Maybe Chris Tucker could be the guy who puts Gerard Butler lookalike character and the newbie together. You gotta be partners. I work alone.
I swear to God, there is another actor who sounds just like that.
What?
That's almost like borderline Kevin Hart. The way that you did. You guys gotta get together. I think we've got ourselves a movie.
Oh, we've definitely got ourselves a movie there.
Yeah.
What's
the movie called again?
What are we calling it?
Death Car?
Death Car or Death Grave.
Or was it Death Grave?
Death
Car.
It could be
Death Grave.
It can be Death Car in America, but in other territories, it's Death Grave.
Because obviously Death Car is another movie that exists in the UK. So we can't have that.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, we don't want people to get confused with the other Death Car.
So who have we got? Tom Hanks, Chris Tucker, Gerard Butler lookalike, and someone else.
Are you writing this down so you know what to do for the thumbnail?
That is exactly what I'm doing. And just as I finished typing, I thought, I really hope that sound doesn't go on the mic. But oh well.
If anyone doesn't know this, here's a little bit of a bit of trivia. Matt is the one who's responsible for doing all these thumbnails all the brilliant thumbnails we get for every YouTube video that we put up. And
oh, Leslie, you're too much.
I quite frankly love seeing his interpretation of what we've talked about in a visual comedy. So I guess that's it, really. We've done it. Tom Hanks, Death Grave / Death Car.
Depending on
2021.
Oh yeah, this would be released within 2 months of production starting. There'd be no script,
and it can be one of those self-contained films where most of the movie is just in the car.
Yes, kind of like
no. Most of the movie is in 2 cars. One car is the Tom Hanks Hirsch car. The other one is Gerard Butler in his own car.
Hirsch. Is it a Hershey mobile? That could be where we get the money from. Just all over Tom Hanks's car. There's just Hershey bar,
and typewriters.
Yeah,
but like,
and maybe we can think of some more outlandish ways Tom Hanks can remember his lines. So maybe there's a bit where he takes off his glasses and he's supposed to look up and say something, but of course Tom Hanks doesn't know what the script is, so he asks us. He asks us, the production team, to get a plane to write it in the sky, to write his lines in the sky.
I was going to say maybe like, that's good. That's a good idea. But you can only get so many lines on that plane. How many planes do you have? Or how many banners do you have
Several.
in that plane?
The whole Hershey Air Force.
I was going to say like maybe like every time Tom Hanks isn't driving and he parks up, he takes off his glasses and he just so happens to park next to a billboard. And that billboard has all the lines.
So the shot is of behind the billboard, but it's just Tom Hanks clearly reading just what's on the billboard.
Yeah.
You won't stop me. You can't find me. Get back in car.
And we'll leave a little Easter egg so we can just see the reflection of the billboard just before he takes his glasses off.
So you too can join in. And you can say Tom Hanks'
But the text is too small in the reflection for you to make out what it says, just so that it doesn't ruin the magic of the movie.
So does he go around just reading everything that's on signs now during production? It's like, cut! You read the wrong thing.
He's supposed to look really menacing. He's delivering his like bad guy dialogue.
Welcome to New York.
Pampers. The new,
soaks up everything.
Cut! You're reading the wrong billboard. You're reading the wrong billboard, Tom. It's like, oh god, give me a typewriter. Prompt. That's how he feeds.
And that's how Gerard Butler's character can find him, because he sends
typewriters?
He sends all these notes. He sends all these notes to the police. Tom Hanks' character,
like the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You can't catch me. You can't find me. Pampers soaks up everything it needs to, and then it gets to the police station, and
signed to T. Hanks.
Yeah. T. Hanks. Thanks. What does it all mean? But they figure it out because they're like, they think there's a gap. They think it's actually signed T. Hanks. But then Gerard Butler's character figures out that it's actually thanks. And the only typewriter that leaves that gap after the letter T is a 1967 typewriter. And that's how they find him.
So is he Tom Hanks in the film, or is he like, do we abridge his name slightly so it's like Tim Hanks or something like that? Or,
we'll call him Tim Hanks.
Tim Hanks, yeah.
Teremy.
Isn't that his name of his brother?
We'll call him Teremy Hanks.
Oh, I've got a brilliant idea.
Go on.
You know how Bruce Willis always has those stand-ins? They just get a generic bald guy.
Right.
Just so that
they get Michael
shot,
Chiklis or...
Yeah, something. Michael Chiklis or Moby or whoever looks like Bruce Willis from behind. So this one, you know how Tom Hanks always has his brother to do stand-ins for his voice?
Right.
Like for Woody.
Right.
Fun fact, all action figures where you hear Woody's voice isn't actually Tom Hanks. It's actually his brother who does the voices. Yeah, so if you go to a Toys R Us, R.I.P. Sorry, Toy Master or a Good Acres, whatever you want to call it, the Entertainer as we have it in the UK. Go to any generic toy store, you get a Woody, you push it, and he goes like, "Oh, there's a snake in my boot." Like, that's not Tom Hanks. That's Tom Hanks' brother doing the voice.
Crazy.
So what I was thinking was like, why don't we just get Tom Hanks' brother to do the stand-ins when Tom Hanks can't be there?
I thought you were going to say
Like,
dub
if
in.
he's too busy doing his
I
typewriters.
thought you were going to say dub in all the lines. Like if Tom Hanks
We
ever
could do
gets it
that,
wrong.
yeah.
So instead of getting him to do a second take of Pampers soaks up what you need, it's
No, you know what? That's an even better idea. Yeah, any dialogue that he accidentally misreads and they didn't have the time or money to pay Tom Hanks to redo his lines, is get his brother to overdub it.
yeah.
And a lot.
So he's clearly
maybe
saying
they
something
even,
else. But yeah, I like your idea of the stand-in as well.
You know how they had to CGI Tom Hanks's they had to CGI Henry Cavill's mustache.
They had to CGI
from
Tom Hanks off of
Justice
Henry
League.
Cavill's face. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's what they did for this movie. Yeah.
That's it. End of the episode.
So if you like this episode, let us know. We've we release these every week. This really is how we're ending the episode, aren't we?
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I've been Leslie, and
I've been Matt.
you can follow us on Twitter, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on every podcast platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, if you're one of those people, iHeartRadio, all those platforms we're on. So have fun, and we'll see you next time. I realise we don't actually have an outro. Maybe we should have some sort of outro that we do.
We'll just do play the intro backwards. It'll be fine.
Okay. If you reverse that, I'm not saying anything. It's just me trying to sound backwards.